Ladies and gentlemen, from about 28 tertiary institutions, it comes down to the last six. The six: Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, University of Cape Coast, University of Education Winneba, Valley View University, University of Ghana, and the SD Dumbo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies. This is a Tertiary Business Sense Challenge, and I welcome you to the semi-final stage. Three very interesting contests are lined up. The first of which we have now. It is between two-time national champion, the University of Cape Coast, against three-time zonal champion and one-time national champion, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. You are especially welcome to this epic encounter. It is a Tertiary Business Sense Challenge brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. As a nation mourns, Tertiary Business Sense Challenge mourns. Ladies and gentlemen, may the souls of all departed rest peacefully. The contest before us is the first of three semi-finals. This one is an epic one. It is between the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology from the Middle Zone. They have won the zonal championships for 3 times in a row. They are a former champion, winners of this competition in the year 2022. For the University of Cape Coast, they have won the zonal championship once, but they are 2-time national champions. University of Cape Coast, as it stands, is the most successful institution in this competition. Both schools represent the most successful teams in this competition. KNUST has 6 semi-finals in a row. In 7 years, They have made it to the semifinals for 6 times. For University of Cape Coast, 7 years, they have also made it to the final 6 times. I think they are all looking to make their 6th appearance at the national final. So they've made 5 finals in 6 each. And this means they are the best in the competition so far. In 2025, KNUST has the highest point of 86 at their zonal championship. Their lowest point at the quarterfinal came at 66 points. They have average point of 73.33, the highest in the competition so far. There are no mean pushovers. For the University of Cape Coast, their highest point came at the quarterfinal stage where they garnered 67 points. Their lowest point has been 63, which they garnered at the zonal final. They have averaged about 65 points so far. But of course, we know the opponent matters when it comes to these contests. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, join me as I welcome the 2 distinguished universities on stage. Last year at the same stage, they met. At that time, the KNUST won the contest. Will it be a repeat? Or will it be a revenge? The point gap was about 13, 12.8 to be exact. UCC is seeking for a revenge. KNUST for a repeat. Ladies and gentlemen, first semi-final. You are welcome on stage, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourselves, beginning from KNUST.
Jafet Adeliki, final year accounting.
Kojo Champion Opoku, final year accounting.
Asuntolia Frederick, 3rd year accounting.
And who do we have from the University of Cape Coast?
James Dodanyataba, level 400, become accounting.
Charles William Obegmensa, become accounting level 400.
Macklin Kekeli Kraka, become finance level 400.
Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so beginning with you, KNUST, what should we expect from you today?
Okay, so in this contest, we are going to give our all and hope to win at the end.
How has the preparation been for this contest?
We've prepared intensively, and we hope that our results show in this competition.
Certainly, we hope and wish you the very best of luck. University of Cape Coast, last year at this stage, you lost to your opponent. How differently have you prepared this time?
I think this year, the Lord has been good, and then I know this is the day the Lord has been preparing us for. And we believe, and then we are humbly confident that we are going to emerge victorious at the end of the contest.
All right. How differently have you prepared?
Oh, our preparation has been massive. We actually been on point, and then we believe that is going to reflect in today's performance.
So what should we expect finally?
Expect nothing but victory.
Expect nothing but victory. We can only wish you well. Ladies and gentlemen, our sponsors include ICA Ghana, MTN Ghana, PwC Gold Ghana, Glycolife Company Ghana, GCB Bank, Papaya Fast Food, Zenith University College, EPP Book Services, and the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, the die is cast. We are about to do battle in 6 rounds. There is only one winner from this contest, and that winner will progress to the national final for 2025. Last year, we had KNUST at the finals, together with the University of Ghana and the University of Education, Winneba. This year, it will either be the University of Cape Coast or the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology from this first semi-final. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore. Of course, you know what I love. I love academic violence. Let's have some violence this morning. Round 1 will be on theory to test your understanding of basic principles and concepts in business. Each of you will attempt 7 major questions. For your major questions, you have 10 seconds within which to give me an answer. If it's a bonus, you have 5 seconds. 2 attempts only at a major question unless otherwise indicated. And I'm going to indicate a lot of those today. Please, are we ready? If you are ready, we begin the contest from the middle zone representative. That is a Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. KNUST, you are starting this for us. Common preamble to the two of you. Now, the following scenarios reflect ethical challenges commonly faced by internal auditors. For each case, identify the ethical principle at stake and briefly explain how failure to uphold it could impact the audit function or the organization. You have 1 attempt only. For the scenario I'll read to you, identify the ethical principle at stake and briefly explain how failure to uphold that could impact the audit function or even the organization. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, your scenario. Agnes, an external auditor at PwC, is reviewing the inventory valuation of a client with complex operations in both Accra and Kumasi. Although the deadline is tight, she resists the pressure to rush her review. Instead, she carefully examines supporting documents, requests clarifications, and thoroughly verifies key assumptions before issuing her opinion. Agnes is an external auditor at PwC. She's reviewing the inventory valuation of a client with complex operations in both Accra and Kumasi. Although the deadline is tight, she resists the pressure to rush her review. Instead, she carefully examines supporting documents, requests clarifications, and thoroughly verifies key assumptions before issuing her opinion.
Okay, so we have professional competence and due care in the sense that she ensured that she has using her right competence, she has provided the necessary skills in performing her duties in auditing their client.
That is correct. University of Cape Coast, also in 1 attempt. David Abel is an auditor at Graphic Business. He is reviewing procurement contracts awarded to a firm owned by his close friend. Although the documentation appears complete, David deliberately recuses himself from the review and refers the task to a colleague to avoid any potential bias or perceived conflict of interest. David Abel is an internal auditor at Graphic Business. He is reviewing procurement contracts awarded to a firm owned by his close college friend. Although the documentation appears complete, David deliberately recuses himself from the review and refers the task to a colleague to avoid any potential bias or perceived conflict of interest.
Okay, so we have objectivity here. So since David is related to the audit firm or has some kind of relationship with the audit firm, he felt that is going to let him compromise on his independence, and as such, he has to withdraw from the audit.
It is correct. For this next set of questions, there are also common preamble. There's a common preamble to them. The scenarios explore how professionals navigate cultural differences in workplace or organizational settings. For each of the scenarios I read to you, identify the cross-cultural concepts being demonstrated and explain its relevance or strategic value in the situation. So I'll read out some scenarios to you. They represent some cultural differences and how they are supposed to be resolved in organizational settings. Identify the cross-cultural concept that is being demonstrated and explain its significance or strategic value in the situation. Now your scenario, KNUST. Yvonne Ayi, a team leader at MTN Ghana, is assigned to coordinate a multi-country project with colleagues from Kenya, Sweden, and China. She takes time to learn how each culture approaches hierarchy, feedback, and teamwork. She adapts her leadership style based on the team's cultural dynamics and reflects on her own assumptions to avoid bias. Her team performs well, and she is praised for managing cultural diversity effectively. Yvonne Ayi is a team leader at MTN Ghana. She is assigned to coordinate a multi-country project with colleagues from Kenya, Sweden, and China. She takes time to learn how each culture approaches hierarchy, feedback, and teamwork. She adapts her leadership style based on the team's cultural dynamics and reflects on how her own assumptions to avoid bias. Her team performs well, and she is praised for managing cultural diversity effectively.
Okay, so with the cross-cultural concept which we've identified is accommodation, in the sense that even I has taken the time to understand each and everyone's culture whilst also reflecting on her own. And also she used that information to help strategically control each and every headquarters which are found in the various countries that are Sweden and Kenya.
I'm not taking that. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so here we have the adaptive cultural concept. We see that she's a leader operating or in charge of people from various ethnic or regional backgrounds, and she makes sure that she tries to adapt to whatsoever situation she's finding herself in.
That is not correct either. I'll give the answer later. Now your major question, UCC. During an international business meeting, Jakub from Compu Ghana notices that his German colleague prefers direct communication, while his Japanese counterpart values subtly and... Let me take it again. During an international business meeting, Jakub from Compu Ghana notices that his German colleague prefers direct communication, while his Japanese counterpart values subtlety and pauses before responding. Jakub adjusts his communication style accordingly, showing respect for each person's preferences and avoiding assumptions based on his own norms. During an international business meeting, Jakub from Compu Ghana noticed that his German colleague prefers direct communication, while his Japanese counterpart values subtlety and pauses before responding. Jakub adjusts his communication style accordingly, showing respect for each person's preferences and avoiding assumptions based on his own norms.
Okay, so we are seeing over here that he's adapting to the preferences of these two people at the meeting, because one prefers direct communication while the other is preferring the other means of communication.
That is not correct. I needed a word. You haven't said anything. Bonus for KNUST.
Okay, so we have assimilation, in the sense that they are trying to adapt to the cultures, in terms of communication, they're trying to adapt to the cultures of communication.
No, please. It is called cultural sensitivity. For the first one, it was cultural intelligence. Next set of questions. Still beginning with KNUST, the common preamble is that understanding trading strategies is essential for analyzing investor behavior and market dynamics. Traders and investors employ various strategies based on their risk tolerance, time horizon, and market outlook. The following questions present different real-world trading scenarios. For the case I'll give to you, identify the specific trading strategy being applied and explain one defining characteristic of that strategy. So for the scenario I'll give to you, identify the specific trading strategy that is being applied and explain one defining characteristic of that strategy. Now, KNUST. Stella Koko, a trading analyst at Glyco Limited or Glyco Life, enters a trade based on historical price patterns and technical signals. She holds the position for around 2 weeks, closing it after her price target is reached. Stella avoids holding positions for several months and does not trade in and out of the market within a single day. She prefers setups where she can monitor price developments over a few days before exiting. Stella Kokor is a trading analyst at Glycolife. She enters a trade based on historical price patterns and technical signals. She holds a position for around 2 weeks, closing it after her price target is reached. Stella avoids holding positions for several months and does not trade in and out of the market within a single day. She prefers setups where she can monitor price development over a few days before exiting.
Okay, so the trading strategy is technical analysis, being that she uses historical data to enable her determine what trade she wants to take. And then the relevance, one identified characteristic is that because technical analysis focus on historical trends, she's using that to help her in her future analysis.
That is not correct. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so we have the bearish strategy. We can see over here that although she's using historical patterns, she doesn't stay in the market for long. And if she wants to stay in the market, she wants to monitor to know her target, and she's not ready to accept any kind of risk.
It cannot be correct. Now your major question, University of Cape Coast. Dixon Hassan is an investment strategist at Graphic Business. He reviews recent stock performance and reallocates the firm's portfolio toward equities that have consistently outperformed the market over the past 6 months. He avoids stocks with weakening trends and believes that recent winners are likely to continue rising due to sustained investor interest and positive sentiment. He uses technical indicators like moving average and price trends, but gives little weight to long-term fundamentals when making decisions. Dixon Hassan is an investment strategist at Graphic Business. He reviews recent stock performance and reallocates the firm's portfolio toward equities that have consistently outperformed the market over the past 6 months. He avoids stocks with weakening trends and believes that recent winners are likely to continue rising due to sustained investor interest and positive sentiment. He uses technical indicators like moving averages and price trends, but gives little weight to long-term fundamentals when making decisions.
Okay, so the strategy we have over here is the technical analysis. We see him, one characteristics of that is they make most use of patterns in the market, giving little consideration to the fundamental issues that determine the value of a particular security.
It is not correct, please. Bonus for KNUST.
So the trading strategy we have is fundamental analysis, in the sense that they are focusing on current situations, or the equities he's focusing on are really in the current, are based on the information already available.
It is not correct. So it is actually momentum trading. Momentum, the previous one was swing trading and momentum trading. I wasn't asking for technical analysis, fundamental analysis, or any of such. Next set of questions, still beginning with KNUST. With the following scenarios, they present real-world macroeconomic policy or labor market dynamics. Either macroeconomic policy or labor market dynamics. For each case, identify the economic principle or law that is being applied and explain its relevance in the given scenario or situation. Identify the economic principle, the macroeconomic principle or law that is being explained and its relevance in the given scenario. KNUST, your scenario. Following a quarterly economic report, Ni Aitego, the Treasury Officer at CompuGhana, observes that the country's unemployment rate has risen by nearly 2 percentage points compared to the same quarter last year. Stella Koko, the firm's macroeconomic strategies, warns that this likely signals a significant shortfall in real GDP relative to potential output. She estimates that the economy may be contracting more than initially projected, even before the official GDP data is released. I take it again. Following a quarterly economic report, Ni Aitego, the Treasury Officer at CompuGhana, observes that the country's unemployment rate has risen by nearly 2 percentage points compared to the same quarter last year. Stella Koko, the firm's macroeconomic strategies, warns that this likely signals a significant shortfall in real GDP relative to potential output. She estimates that the economy may be contracting more than initially projected, even before official GDP data is released.
Okay, so the economic principle or the law in relation to this scenario is the Okun's law. And the Okun's law talks about the relationship that exists between unemployment and GDP. And you can see from the scenario that as unemployment increase, their real GDP decrease. And so the Okun's law helps us know the relationship that exists between unemployment and GDP.
It is correct. University of Cape Coast. As the economy recovers from a prolonged downturn, Glycolife observes a steady decline in national unemployment figures. Now, the company's macroeconomic analysts note that while job creation is rising, so too are reports of wage increases and price hikes across several sectors. Management is concerned about whether this trend will continue and how it might affect future business costs. As the economy recovers from prolonged downturn, Glycolife observes a steady decline in national unemployment figures. Now, the company's macroeconomic analysts note that while job creation is rising, so too are reports of wage increases and price hikes across several sectors. Management is concerned about whether this trend will continue and how it might affect future business costs.
So the economic principle being observed here is the flip curves. So here we realize that when the economy was actually in when they were in a recession, that is a moment during which inflation was actually increasing. They realized that later there was a reduction in unemployment. That means that wages became so cheap, and then now they can employ more people, which reduce unemployment.
It is correct. For the next set of questions, we are beginning with the University of Cape Coast. Common preamble to the two of you. In preparation for the upcoming financial year, Ghana's Minister of Finance, Mr. NSJC, has convened a team from the Budget Division and the Macroeconomic Policy Unit. Their task is to prepare a fiscal strategy document for cabinet review by the statutory deadline. To guide their work, they must be clear on the mandatory issues the fiscal strategy document is expected to address under Ghanaian public financial management laws. That's a preamble. Now your question. Give me any 3 specific issues, each of you, that must be captured in the fiscal strategy document. Outline any 3 specific issues that must be captured in the fiscal strategy document, beginning with the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so the first one is revenue mobilization strategy, and then the medium-term review model, and then ways of cutting down expenditure or strategies to cut down expenditure, which is also fiscal consolidation.
That is correct. KNUST.
So we have their debt management strategy, and also a sensitivity analysis, and also their medium-term expenditure framework that they will be looking forward to.
Okay, I'll accept that. That is correct. You mentioned medium-term revenue, right? Okay, so the expenditure is correct. Yes. Next set of questions. Still with University of Cape Coast. also a common preamble to the two schools. Now, persons who are making payment for supply of goods, works, and services are required by the provisions of the Income Tax Act, Act 896, to withhold taxes on the gross amount at various rates and pay same to the Commissioner General. However, where a good cause is shown, the Commissioner General may exempt in writing that supplier from withholding taxes due. There's a practice note on withholding taxes. That is a withholding tax or practice note number DT 2016-001. It identifies 13 conditions that must be fulfilled for a taxpayer to be exempted from the payment of withholding taxes. Now, my question is simple. Each of you should identify any 3 conditions under which a taxpayer may be exempted from payment of withholding taxes, beginning with the University of Cape Coast.
So one has to do with the person should keep, the Commissioner General should be able to believe that the person actually keep proper books of account. Then second is the person might have paid all tax due. And then the last one is that the person has to have registered for all tax that the person has to register for, looking at the nature of his business and then what he has to actually register for. He might have registered for all tax he's supposed to.
It is correct. KNUST.
Okay, so first of all, the individual in question must have been subjected to a tax audit within 2 or 3 years. And in terms of any penalties, or he has to have paid all his penalty that he owes. And then he...
Payment has been mentioned, right?
Oh.
I think UCC mentioned payment.
Okay, so so subject to a tax audit, he must also have the... Yeah, so he also must to keep all necessary records and...
Records has been mentioned.
Subject to a tax audit within the next 2 years, must also qualify to be a person to be withholding tax, and also must qualify to be exempted, and also based on the Commissioner General's assessment, he has to be fit and proper.
1 out of 3. So there are other ones that you failed to mention. The fact that he should have submitted particulars of contract with any non-resident. He should have submitted all tax returns. If it's under self-assessment, he should have submitted his estimated chargeable income. He shouldn't have issued any dishonored checks in the last 2 years, etc., etc. Cash flow challenges, and he should actually apply for it. Now, the last set of questions for this round. Beyond selecting, common preamble, please, still begin with UCC. Beyond selecting the appropriate performance measurement framework, effective managers must also be able to identify and apply the specific components that drive meaningful insights. So for the following scenarios, you are supposed to recognize key elements from various performance management tools applied within practical real-world business settings. So I'll give you a scenario, tell you a specific business performance tool or performance measurement tool, and then ask you to identify the specific element of that business performance tool that is in the scenario. Please, you get it. Now, University of Cape Coast. At Papaya Foods Limited, Mariam is rolling out a new performance appraisal process. She ensures that all KPIs for branch managers are specific, agreed upon, realistic, and measurable. She also trains them on how performance will be monitored and evaluated. Which element of the building block model is Mariam applying? At Papaya Fast Foods Limited, Mariam is rolling out a new performance appraisal process. She ensures that all KPIs for branch managers are specific, they are agreed upon, they are realistic and measurable. She also trains them on how performance will be monitored and evaluated. Which element of the building block model is Mariam applying?
Okay, so we have the dimension, specifically the financial and then quality control. So here we see that she's trying to measure KPIs, and she's also trying to improve the performance of her employees.
I'm not taking that. Bonus is available.
Okay, so we have standards and we have achievability to be, yes, standards, and we have achievability to be specific, as she has given them ways to achieve. They have given them certain objectives to achieve.
Standards is the correct answer. Now your major question, KNUST. At MTN Ghana's Ashanti region plant, Yusuf is under pressure to increase responsiveness. He monitors how easily his team can switch between SIM card packaging formats when urgent customer orders arrive from corporate clients. Which performance dimension within the performance pyramid is Yusuf concerned with? At MTN Ghana's Ashanti region plant, Yusuf is under pressure to increase responsiveness. He monitors how easily his team can switch between SIM card packaging formats when urgent custom orders arrive from corporate clients. Which performance dimension within the performance pyramid is Yusuf concerned with?
Okay, so we are looking at the flexibility, in the sense that he's looking at how easily he can adapt or switch from what they are currently doing to doing something else within the short period.
It is correct. On that note, we come to the end of round one, ladies and gentlemen. It is a heated contest between the University of Cape Coast and the KNUST. This is the first of 3 semifinals. A place at the national final is at stake. These are the 2 best institutions in the competition's history, and they lock horns to decide on who makes it to the final. At the end of round one, the scores. The University of Cape Coast has 12 points, KNUST has 14 points. We are going into round 2. This round will commence from the University of Cape Coast. Each of you will attempt 7 major questions. For a major question, you have 30 seconds to give me an answer. If it's a bonus, you have 5 seconds. 3 points if you get your major question correct, to be answered in 2 attempts. For a bonus, 1 point to be answered in 1 attempt. University of Cape Coast, your major question. A bill of exchange with a face value of 25,000 cedis was drawn on 1st March and had a tenure of 90 days. It was endorsed to a third party on 15th March. On the due date, the bill was dishonored, and the third party demanded the full amount along with interest at 12% per annum, calculated from the date of endorsement to the date of payment, which occurred 10 days after the due date. Calculate the total amount payable by the original drawer to the third party. I take it again. A bill of exchange with a face value of 25,000 cedis was drawn on 1st March and had a tenure of 90 days. It was endorsed to a third party on 15th March. On the due date, the bill was dishonored and the third party demanded the full amount along with interest at 12% per annum, calculated from the date of endorsement to the date of payment, which occurred 10 days after the due date. You have to calculate the total amount payable by the original drawer to the third party, UCC.
Okay, so we have 24,281.53.
It is not correct. You have 1 other chance.
We have 25,739.7.
That is correct. KNUST. A bill of exchange with a face value of 40,000 cedis was drawn on 10th January and had a tenure of 60 days. It was endorsed to David Nyama on 25th January. On the due date, the bill was dishonored, and David demanded payment plus interest at 10% per annum, calculated from the date of endorsement to the actual payment date, which occurred 5 days after the due date. Calculate the total amount payable by the original drawer. A bill of exchange with a face value of 40,000 cedis was drawn on 10th January and had a tenor of 60 days. It was endorsed to David Nyama on 25th January. On the due date, the bill was dishonored, and David demanded payment plus interest at 10% per annum, calculated from the date of endorsement to the actual payment date, which occurred 5 days after the due date. You have to calculate the total amount payable by the original drawer.
We have 40,722.22.
40,000.
722.
You have one other chance.
You have 40,547.94.
Yes, that is correct. Next set of questions. Still University of Ghana commencing for us. Franklin Sowa is an executive producer at ICAG. He is on a strategic outreach campaign that ICAG launched in Q3. The data for Q3 in Ghana City is as follows. Sales revenue, 4.8 million. Variable cost, 2,880,000. Fixed operating cost, 1.5 million. Interest expense, 300,000 cedis. Calculate the degree of operating leverage, degree of financial leverage, and degree of combined leverage. Franklin Sowa is an executive producer at ICAG. He is analyzing the financial leverage of a strategic outreach campaign. We have the following data. Sales revenue, 4.8 million. Variable cost, 2,880,000. Fixed operating cost, 1.5 million. The interest expense is 300,000 cedis. Calculate the degree of operating leverage, degree of financial leverage, and the degree of combined leverage.
Okay, so the degree of operating leverage is 4.57, degree of financial leverage is 1.89, and then the combined leverage is 5.76.
You have one other chance to correct your mistakes.
Okay. What did you get? So the degree of operating leverage is 4.57. Then the degree of financial leverage is 3.5. Then the combined leverage is actually 8.
It's actually
8.
I want one person to talk. Give me definite answers in here and now.
Okay. So the degree of operating leverage is 4.57. Then the degree of financial leverage is 3.5. Then the combined leverage is 8.1.
2 out of 3. KNUST. KNUST. Vivian Nyante is a finance manager at CompuGhana. She is reviewing the company's Q2 performance and projections. The following are the data. Sales revenue, 3.5 million. Variable cost, 2.1 million. Fixed operating cost, 1.1 million. The interest expense is 250,000. Calculate the degree of operating leverage, degree of financial leverage, and the degree of combined leverage. Vivian Nyanta is a finance manager at CompuGhana. She has the following data. Sales revenue, 3.5 million. Variable cost, 2.1 million. Fixed operating cost, 1.1 million. The interest expense is 250,000. Calculate the degree of operating leverage, degree of financial leverage, and the degree of combined leverage.
So the degree of financial leverage is 4.67. The degree of financial leverage is 4.67. The degree of operating leverage is 4.5, and the combined is 4. The combined is 20.97.
1 out of 3. Next set of questions, still beginning with the University of Cape Coast. Akosia Nkrumah is an inventory manager at EPP Books Services. She oversees the ordering of promotional merchandise that sees consistent annual demand of 24,000 units. Each order placed costs the company 100 cedis in procurement and processing fees, while the annual holding cost per unit is estimated at 5 cedis. EPP Book Services operates for 300 days each year, and deliveries take 4 working days. Calculate the economic order quantity, the total annual ordering cost, and the reorder point, assuming constant daily demand and no safety stock. Akosia Nkrumah is the inventory manager at EPP Book Services. She oversees the ordering of promotional merchandise that sees consistent annual demand of 24,000 units. Each order placed costs the company 100 cedis in procurement and processing fees, while the annual holding cost per unit is estimated at 5 cedis. EPP Book Services operate for 300 days each year, and deliveries take 4 working days. Calculate the economic order quantity, the total annual ordering cost, and the reorder point, assuming constant daily demand and no safety stock.
Okay, so we have the economic order quantity to be 979, and then the ordering cost to be so the total ordering cost to be 2,451.5, and then the reorder is 1,200.
So even better that you got 2 out of 3. And now to you, KNUST. David Abel is a logistics director at Papaya Foods Limited. He handles the inventory of disposable cups used in bottling operations. The company uses about 12,000 units annually. The ordering cost per batch is 150 cedis, and the holding cost per unit is 6 cedis per year. The plant operates 250 days a year, and delivery from the supplier takes 7 days. Calculate the economic order quantity, compute the total annual ordering cost, and the reorder point, assuming constant daily demand and no safety stock. I take it again. David Abel is a logistics director at Papaya Fast Foods Limited. He handles the inventory of disposable cups used in bottling operations. The company uses about 12,000 units annually. The ordering cost per batch is 150 cedis, and the holding cost per unit is 6 cedis per year. The plant operates 250 days a year, and delivery from supplier takes 7 days. Calculate the economic order quantity, total annual ordering cost, and the reorder point, assuming constant daily demand and no safety stock.
Okay, so for the economic order quantity, we have 774.60. For the total annual ordering cost, we have 2323.79. And for the reorder level, reorder point, we have 1,750.
You have one other chance to correct your mistakes. You've not been bailed out yet. Two out of 3. So for both of you, your reorder points were wrong. KNUST is supposed to be about 336. UCC was supposed to be 320. Next set of questions. Still beginning with the University of Cape Coast. Malik is a process supervisor at Gold Ghana. He oversees the transfer of 6,000 units of crude material into the refining process during the month of June. Each unit of input was valued at 8 cedis. Due to the nature of the process, a normal loss of 5% is expected, and any such loss has a scrap value of 1 cedi per unit. However, at the end of the month, actual output was only 5,500 units. Compute the value of the abnormal gain or loss. I take the question again. Malik is a process supervisor at Gold Ghana. He oversees the transfer of 6,000 units of crude material into the refining process during the month of June. Each unit of input was valued at 8 cedis. Due to the nature of the process, a normal loss of 5% is expected, and any such loss has a scrap value of 1 cedi per unit. However, at the end of the month, actual output was only 5,500 units. Calculate the value of abnormal gain or loss.
So we have the abnormal gain to be 200.
It is not correct. You have one other chance.
$300.
That is also not correct. Bonus for KNUST.
So we have an abnormal loss of 289.47.
It is not correct as well. Your major question, KNUST. Stephanie Archery is a process accountant at GCB Bank's check printing division. She recorded a transfer of 10,000 sheets of special paper into the printing process in August. Each sheet costs 5 cedis. The process is expected to incur a normal loss of 10%, with scrap sales fetching 0.5 cedis per sheet. The actual output from the process was 8,900 sheets. Compute the value of the abnormal gain or loss. Stephanie Archer is a process accountant at GCB Bank's check printing division. She recorded a transfer of 10,000 sheets of special paper into the printing process in August. Each sheet costs 5 cedis. The process is expected to incur a normal loss of 10%, with scrap sales fetching 0.5 cedis per sheet. The actual output from the process was 8,900 sheets. Compute the value of the abnormal gain or loss.
Okay, so we have an abnormal, the value of the abnormal loss is 550 Ghana cedis.
It is correct. For the next set of questions, I'm beginning from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. In January 2022, Nkrumah, the financial controller at Gold Ghana, approved the acquisition of a mining license for 10 million cedis, with the expectation of extracting commercial quantities of lithium over 10 years. However, in January 2025, after just 3 years, new environmental regulations drastically reduced the scope of mining operations in the area. As a result, the license is now expected to generate net cash inflows of only 1.5 million cedis per year for the next 5 years, after which it will be worthless. The appropriate discount rate reflecting the risk of these cash flows is 8%. Now, your question. Calculate the carrying amount and value in use of the mining license as of January 2025 and calculate the impairment loss, if any. I take it again. In January 2025, Nkrumah, the financial controller at Gold Ghana, approved the acquisition of a mining license for 10 million cedis, with the expectation of extracting commercial quantities of lithium over 10 years. However, in January 2025, after just 3 years, new environmental regulations drastically reduced the scope of mining operations in the area. As a result, the license is now expected to generate net cash inflows of only 1.5 million cedis per year for the next 5 years, after which it will be worthless. The appropriate discount rate reflecting the risk is 8%. Calculate the carrying amount and the value in use, and then determine if there is an impairment loss or any, and the value.
Okay, so we have the carrying amount to be 7 million, the value in use to be 5,989,065.05, and then the impairment loss, and the impairment loss will be 1,010,934.94.
It is correct. Franklin Aka is a UCC, your major question. Franklin Aka is the head of technology at ICAG. They acquired a software license on 1st January 2021 for 5 million cedis, amortizable over 10 years. By 1st January 2024, a competing software rendered it partially obsolete. Management now estimates it will generate 400,000 cedis per year for the next 6 years, after which it will be replaced. The appropriate discount rate is 10%. Calculate the carrying amount as at 1st January 2024, compute the value in use, and determine the impairment loss, if any. I'll take it again. Franklin Aka is the head of technology at ICAG. He acquired a software license on 1st January 2021 for 5 million cedis, amortizable over 10 years. By 1st January 2024, a competing software rendered it partially obsolete. Management now estimates it will generate 400,000 cedis per year for the next 6 years, after which it will be replaced. The appropriate discount rate is 10%. Calculate the carrying amount as at 1st January 2024, the value in use, and determine the impairment loss, if any. University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so the carrying amount is 3.5 million. The current amount is 3 million, and then the value in use is 1,742,104.28, and then the impairment loss is 1,739,104.
Please give me your figures again.
Yeah, I'm saying the carrying amount is 3 million. The value in use is 1,757,895.72, 1,757,895.72, and then the impairment loss is 1,739,104.28.
I'm not taking that. Bonus for KNUST.
So the carrying amount is 3,500,000. The value in use is 1,742,104.28, and the impairment loss is 1,757,896.
Yes. So you see, you started by mentioning the correct, and you change your mind at the point. That's why I asked you to repeat your figures, and you gave the wrong ones again. All right. Now for the next set of questions, still beginning with KNUST. KNUST. Okay. So Kwame Skele, finance manager at CompuGhana, observes that the company's equity beta is currently 1.2, with a capital structure comprising 50% debt and 50% equity. Due to a strategic shift, the firm plans to reduce its debt ratio to 30%. The company falls in the 25% tax bracket. Calculate the revised beta after the capital structure change. Kwame Skele is a finance manager at CompuGhana. He observes that the company's equity beta is currently 1.2, with a capital structure comprising 50% debt and 50% equity. Due to a strategic shift, the firm plans to reduce its debt ratio to 30%. The company falls in the 25% tax bracket. Calculate the revised beta after the capital structure change.
Okay, so we're having a revised beta of 1.097.
It is not correct. You have one other chance. Even bailed out. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
We are having an equity beta of 1.04.
It is not correct. Now your major question, the University of Cape Coast. Stephen Gbadegbe is an assistant producer at Graphic Business. He wants to estimate the effect of increasing the firm's debt ratio from 20% to 50%. The company currently has a beta of 0.95 and is taxed at 30%. Calculate the firm's new beta after recapitalization. Stephen Gbadegbe is an assistant producer at Graphic Business. He wants to estimate the effect of increasing the firm's debt ratio from 20% to 50%. The company currently has a beta of 0.95 and is taxed at 30%. Calculate the firm's new beta after recapitalization.
.56.
It is not correct. You have one other chance.
actually having.
Okay.
We're actually having.
Oh, yeah.
Bonus for KNUST.
We have a revised beta of 1.183.
It is not 1.183. It is actually 1.375. 1.375 is what I was looking for. And now our last set of questions for this round. Last set of questions for the round. KNUST, you are beginning for us. Esther Ajay is a project coordinator at MTN Ghana. She's managing a nationwide branch upgrade project. One of the scheduled tasks is network cabling installation across 5 sites. Due to variability in terrain and access permission, the time estimates are as follows. Optimistic time, 4 days. Most likely time, 7 days. Pessimistic time, 10 days. Calculate the expected duration for the activity using the PET formula. Compute the variance of the activity's duration. Esther Ajay is a project coordinator at MTN Ghana. She is managing a nationwide branch upgrade project. One of the scheduled tasks is network cabling installation across 5 sites. Due to variability in terrain and access permissions, the time estimates are as follows. The optimistic time is 4 days. Most likely time is 7 days. Pessimistic time is 10 days. Calculate the expected duration for the activity using the PET formula and compute the variance of the activity's duration.
The expected duration is 2.8 days, and the variance will be 7 minutes.
Expected duration, I'm getting 7.87, and the
Please, I need one person to speak.
Okay, so expected
Kojo,
duration is 2.8, and then the variance will be 4.2 days.
It is not correct. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so we have the expected duration to be 7 days, and then the variance to be 2.45 days.
For a bonus, I'm not taking that. One of the figures is actually correct, the other is wrong. So I'm not going to specify. And now the last question for the round. Last question for the round. Emmanuel Amamu, implementation lead at GlycoLife, is planning a training model deployment. The training content adaptation tax is subject to uncertainty due to changes in regulatory content. He provides the following PET estimates. Optimistic, 3 days. Most likely, 5 days. Pessimistic, 9 days. Calculate the expected duration of the activity using the PET formula. Compute the variance of the activity's duration. I take it again. Emmanuel Amamu is an implementation lead at GlycoLife. He is planning a training model deployment. The training content adaptation tax is subject to uncertainty due to changes in regulatory content. He provides the following PET estimates. Optimistic is 3 days. Most likely 5 days. Pessimistic is 9 days. Calculate the expected duration for the activity using the PET formula. Compute the variance of the activity's duration.
So we have the expected duration to be 5.3 days, and then the variance to be 6.2.
You have one chance to correct the mistake. There is a mistake in your answers.
Okay, so we have the expected duration to be 5.3 days, and then the variance to be 1.1 days.
Yes. On that note, we come to the end of round 2, ladies and gentlemen. It is still the first semi-final contest between the University of Cape Coast and the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. A place at the final is at stake, ladies and gentlemen. Only one will progress to the final. Our scores for round 2. At the end of round 2, the University of Cape Coast had 10 points, KNUST are 13 points. Round 3. This is where our judges come in. In this round, the two schools have been presented with a problem, business case. They have gone through and they have a presentation to make to us. They will have 3 minutes within which to present, after which marks will be awarded by the judges. The average score for the 3 judges will constitute the score for the team. Each judge is supposed to assess them out of 30, which will be scaled down to 15, after which the average score will be found for the team. Please, are we ready? The presentation is going to commence with the KNUST. So if our production team is ready. All right, so we'll do a short video of how they solve their case, after which we'll get the presentation. But for the purpose of coordination, we'll need 1 rep each to go to the production team and then control the presentation slides. So let's watch the video for KNUST. Please, your video is not playing. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll resolve the technical issue briefly, but a reminder that the program is brought to us by Graphic Business in partnership with the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Our sponsors include MTN Ghana, PwC Glycolife. We also have Gold Ghana, GCB Bank, Papaya Fast Food, Zenith University College, EPP Book Services, Ghana National Association of Teachers. We are also reminded that the next semi-final contest will be between the University of Education Winneba and the Valley View University. The TBSC LinkedIn Challenge is still ongoing. Schools are encouraged to make a post on LinkedIn and then tag the official LinkedIn challenge hashtag. That is hashtag TBSC 2025 challenge. There are amazing prizes for the winner. We have a cash prize from Career Compass. We have a LinkedIn feature post by Graphic Business or ICAG. Of course, our judges are also going to make a post about you. There will be a publication of the team's photo and their journey in the Graphic Business newspaper. There will be a certificate of digital thought leadership awarded by Career Compass and the TBSC. Then there will also be an opportunity to be part of a post-contest podcast or video interview. That is what is at stake. Ladies and gentlemen, it appears our video is ready now. So we will take a brief video, 1 minute, for KNUST before they begin their presentation. All right. So we'll go for a very quick commercial break. We'll be right back. A very quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and
Audience
friends.
is
Choose
ready.
the bundle that best works for you
Studio
from
audience, I
as low
must
as
say,
10
I
Ghana
gingered
cedis
up.
weekly for
Last
unlimited
quarterfinal
access to all
contest for day one
publications.
is upon us.
Graphic, truth and
Mudaraba and
accuracy
Musharaka
every
in
day.
Islamic finance.
Information is a
I
great
actually
source
stated
of
and
power,
explained. I
adding
want
to
you
your
explain the
options,
points
knowing
you
that
have
quality
mentioned.
and standard
Join me
remains
as we want
intact,
to
and our
experience some
content, which is
academic
accepted as
value this
truth and
afternoon.
accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies, The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome back from a very quick commercial break. This is still the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge. The contest between KNUST and UCC. We are in round 3, the business case of the day. We are currently watching how KNUST arrived at their solution. Who is presenting? It depends on them. If it's okay, I think 1 minute should be fine. All right, so that was a presentation by the Kwame Nkrumah, or that was a video by Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. They have the floor now to present. Right after they are done, the University of Cape Coast video will come up, and then they also have their presentation. So whilst we wait for KNUST to present, we have distinguished judges, a panel made up of 3 very distinguished personalities in their own right. We have Mr. Albert Nia Itego. He's regular on this program. He's been performing judge duties all this while. We have Na Hemmans, right? Yes, she's representing ASPA Executive Institute. She's a chartered accountant. She's a chartered tax analyst as well. She's with the ASPA team, a lecturer at ASPA. Then we have the operations manager at Lantini. Yes, that is Mr. Dixon Asan. He's also always with us as a judge. So, KNUST, your presentation in 3 minutes. 3 minutes, please.
Okay. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, our case is on ESG and greenwashing, with having a focus on Go Express, a fintech product that was developed by Go PLC. Now, to begin with, what is ESG and what is greenwashing? So, ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance, and it's a framework that ensures that business operates under these 3 areas in their pursuit for profit. Now, greenwashing is a term that describes a situation where a company assumes its product to be sustainable, but in fact it is not. An example is Go portraying its product, Go Express, as being suitable. Now, we identify certain ethical and regulatory risks that Go may face due to their poor implementation. And one is compliance risks, that is failure to comply with the Ghana Data Protection Act, and reputational risks, which occurs when there is loss of public trust due to their dishonesty, and then the business probity risks, which occurs when the dishonesty of their management undermines the performance of Go. Now, we also identify some internal control weaknesses, such as the full automation of the system without any human oversight, as well as a poor risk assessment that was done before they launched their product. And there was also poor coordination that existed between their technical team and also their compliance team. Now, in terms of remedial steps, we propose certain situations to help remedy their situation. We said that they should release a press statement that details their fault and tells them that they are willing to commit to reforms. And also, to those who are affected by the poor implementation, they should provide certain incentives to increase their confidence. Now, in terms of strategic measures, we are looking at, in their upcoming annual general meeting, we are looking at the company exploring new ventures that are aligned with ESG goals to increase investors' confidence, and also prioritizing SDG Goal 10, that is reducing inequalities, to ensure that their systems are rechanged. Now, in terms of AI governance principles, which a company should adopt, we are looking at confidentiality, that is making sure that data is safe and secure; integrity, which making sure that the data which is collected is actually accurate; and then availability, which is making sure that data is readily accessible to enable businesses make decisions when needed. Now, we believe that if Ghana is able to follow these implementations, they will be able to lead in digital finance and technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kojo. You may take your seats now. So kindly hand over the mic to the University of Cape Coast. So before University of Cape Coast will start, we have a short video of how they arrived at their presentation. Yeah. All right. University of Cape Coast. You have 3 minutes. Your time begins now.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charles William Obimens. I'm here on behalf of Team UCC to deliver a presentation on a product issued by Goyle Ghana, which is Goyle Express. And then our outline of presentation is what you're seeing over there. And then this product produced or introduced into the market was to offer credit solutions to the informal sector of the economy, specifically the low-income earners. Although this product had a successful beginning, there were some ethical issues that arose, and then we could see them projected over here. The first one is the exclusion of human capital. The case study made us understand that the whole system was fully automated, which means that there was no inclusion of human capital, which is quite contrary to SDG goal number 8. And we also had a situation where there was inequality in trying to give preferences to the loan applicants. And that was also in contrary to SDG goal number 10, which talks about reduced inequalities. And then we also saw the threat to data security when they were using alternative data instead of traditional data, and it was against the Data Privacy Act and Bank of Ghana regulations. So we move on to also talk about some, previous slide please. We move on to talk about some internal control weaknesses they identified. We saw that the whole system was fully automated, and as a fact of that, we saw the automated system giving poor judgment when applicants apply for loans. We also saw the reliance on limited information. They assumed that the information they had, which was from social media and all those unconventional sources, were enough to make their decision. And we also saw how their processes took 60 seconds just to decide whether a loan applicant is eligible or not. So we devised some recommendations we think that Goyle Ghana can have for Goyle Express. The first one is to prioritize the inclusion of human capital. Yes, because of the fact that we are actually trying to reach out to humans, there should be an aspect of the business that should be controlled by human capital to have that emotional aspect of the business taken care of, satisfying SDG goal number 10. We also have the fact that they should implement a robust client screening system. That screening system that considers a good client policy rate or client policy conditions. And then we also have the reassessment of eligibility criteria. We saw the displacement between the urban and the local, and then they saw the preference treatment given to them. And then they also said that we also said that they should implement a pilot testing system for Goyle Express. Moving on, we also have to talk about how to enhance the stakeholder confidence. And to do that, we should make sure that the company aligns their goals and objectives with the regulations of Bank of Ghana and the Data Privacy Act. How do they do this? They should establish a fair and credible eligibility criteria.
Your time is
and then
up.
we also have the principles that govern them.
All right, thank you. Your time is up. So you keep the microphone. So at this stage, we are going to hand over to our judges. If they have any questions, or if they want to seek for any further clarification from the two schools, they will have the opportunity to ask them, and then you respond to, they can direct, judges, you may direct questions to any of the two schools in no particular order, based on what you think works well for you.
Okay. Thank you very much. My question goes to KNUST. Very good presentation, well elaborated. I think we should give them a big round of applause for their presentation. I'm touching on two areas on your presentation, particularly on the risk. You mentioned risk on compliance, reputational, and then business probity risk. And one of the things I was also looking out for was the risk of financial inclusion. So just take note. So this is more like a complimentary statement I'm making. You can make reference to like the National Financial Inclusion Act, which is actually helping to be able to have even clients in low-income earning areas, like the rural areas, to be able to be part of the whole financial inclusion agenda. So you can refer to aspects of the law that helps you to be able to, ensure that there's that regulation. Now, when it comes to internal controls, one of the things I want to add is that mostly you would have to look at board oversight responsibilities. So you can have the board, and then you can also have like board subcommittees. Then from there, internally, at the management level, you can, look at instituting management committees. So in this case, you can have like a data governance committee and then specialized committees. Even knowing that the legal and compliance and risk is key, you can also recommend that we have a risk and compliance legal committee that would work with the board subcommittee or the board to ensure that there's the right accountability and internal controls. But I think that overall, your presentation is very good, and then you should be applauded for that. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to the schools. I think, first of all, it's just a general impression I want to give as we learn along. So, KNUST, your presentation was okay, but I think there was a lot of movement, so it kind of distracts what you actually wanted to say. So, going forward in the future, ensure that what you are presenting is actually engaging us. It's not like you are here to read to us, but we want to understand actually what you're presenting. That said, at UCC did it quite well, but unfortunately, the time is quite limited, but the presentation was good in terms of trying to connect what you are saying. It's not like you are reading to us. So basically, these are areas that I think you guys did well, and you can improve going forward. So that is my general observation. In terms of the solutions and recommendations, I think my colleague has elaborated on just a bit on the AI governance principles. I think he is it didn't come out too well, to me, in terms of these principles. So probably either it is time or whatever it is, you can go back and look at them, because we are in an era of AI, and it is good when we are implementing AI solutions, we don't forget about the principles that govern them.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so for me, I think they did a very good job. Looking at both schools, I think their presentation was good. This shows that they did their research very well, so I want to applaud them for that. Thank you.
All right, so now to the big question. I'm going to take your scores for the two teams, and then we find the average. So kindly score, and then you bring it down to 15, and then I'll take the three scores. So whatever scores you have for the schools, please reduce it to 15. Okay. And then we can then take the average score of the three judges. They are kindly working on that. We have 3 more rounds to go. We have the graphic business segment, we have the true or false, and then we have the riddle segments to go. So you should, for those who want to effect any substitutions in the next round, kindly get ready for your substitutions whilst we take the scores for round 3. All right, so I'll go straight to my judges for their scores. I'll begin with Judge 1, Albert Niaitego, Finance Manager, Ghana Commodity Exchange. Your score for KNUST, out of 15.
Okay, KNUST, I scored 11 over 15.
11. Okay, University of Cape Coast.
University of Cape Coast, I scored 11.5 over
11.5, okay. Rachel, now your scores for KNUST.
So for KNUST, I gave them 12.5.
Please, I can hardly hear you.
Okay, so for KNUST, I gave them 12.5.
12.5?
Yes.
Okay, and UCC?
Interestingly, they also got the same mark.
Okay, that's fine. Now, Dixon Hassan, for KNUST.
KNUST, I scored them 9 out of 15.
Okay, and UCC?
And UCC, because of time, I scored them 8.5.
8.5?
Yes.
All right, that's fine. So we are going to take the average of the scores, and that will be the score for round 3. So what we will do now is that we will progress with round 4, and then we'll give you the scores based on these figures that have been presented as scores for round 3 later. So at this stage, we are moving on to round 4. If you want to effect any substitution, please go ahead now. All right, you're welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Please introduce yourselves, beginning from KNUST. What? No substitution. Oh, All right, the University of Cape Coast, please
I'm the
introduce
person of
yourself.
Alfred Akwada, final year become accounting student.
Okay. All right. So before we go on the scores for round 3, I think it's the same, right? Yes. So at the end of round 3, University of Cape Coast at 10.83, KNUST at 10.83. We are going into round 4. This round will commence from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. All right. Common preamble to the 2 schools. Common preamble. In an article titled The Nexus Between Customer Service and Brand Building in Ghana, the head of marketing department at UPSA explores the interplay between customer service and brand building in Ghana. Small businesses in Ghana interpret brand building as simply ensuring frontline staff are polite, uniforms are worn, and phone lines are answered. While these are important aspects of service delivery, they do not amount to comprehensive branding. Now, KNUST, one of the key elements of building a true brand strength is consistent messaging and identity. Mention any 3 elements of consistent messaging and identity. Mention 3 elements of consistent messaging and identity.
Okay, so we have brand repositioning, we have product and service improvement, and we have the competitive benchmarking.
No. You've exhausted your chance. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast. All right. Now, University of Cape Coast, your question. One of the key elements of building a true brand strength is emotional connection. Mention 3 elements of emotional connection. One of the key elements of building a true brand strength is emotional connection. Mention 3 elements of emotional connection.
Okay, so the first one is personalized relationship. We have communication of the brand values, and the last one has to do with solving problem with taking into consideration lesser or without red tips.
I'm not taking that. KNUST, you have a bonus. We are building trust, relevance, and affinity with target audiences. For the first one about consistent messaging, we have visuals, tone, and communication that aligns with the brand's mission. Next set of questions. KNUST still beginning this for us. Ghana has taken a bold step to address the its long-standing investment disparities in the 16 regions and unlock the country's enormous economic potential with the launch of the Investment Opportunity Mapping Project. Now your question. Mention any 3 aims. This is to both of you. Mention any 3 aims of the Investment Opportunity Mapping Project each. Each of you should mention 3 aims, objectives of the Investment Opportunity Mapping Project, beginning from KNUST.
Okay, so we have 1, conducting investment roadshow, regional investment roadshows. We also have enhancing the influence or the impact of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center across all the regions, and also making investment presentations for regional leaders.
Yes. Now, University of Cape Coast.
So 1, they will create the investment. 1, they will create the investment opportunity app. 2, they will identify, they will assess and document viable investment opportunities, and also they'll manage the portfolio of investment from metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies.
Yes. Next set of questions. Next set of questions. Common preamble to the 2 schools. According to new research by a top market and economic research agency and consultancy in Ghana, Samsure IQ, Ghana's fast-moving consumer goods (FMCG) sector showed signs of recovery at the end of 2024 compared to 2023. So that is, according to the report, there was significant growth rate in the volume and value of consumption of FMCG products as at the end of June 2025. Now, KNUST, what was the percentage contribution of non-alcoholic products to the volume sales, value of sales, and the difference in the growth rates? What was the percentage contribution of non-alcoholic products to the volume of sales, value of sales, and the difference in the two growth rates?
Okay, so to the volume, we have 15.3%. And, so to the volume, we have 15.3%, and to the value, we have 2.4%. And the difference is 13 point. We have 12.9%.
I'm not taking that. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so for the volume, we have 15.7%. For the value, we have 15, and the difference is 0.7%.
Yes. Now, University of Cape Coast, your major question. What was the percentage contribution of food products to the volume of sales, value of sales, and the difference in the two growth rates? What was the percentage contribution of food products to the volume of sales, value of sales, and the difference in the two growth rates?
So volume was 75.4%, value was 59%, and the difference is 16.4%.
Yes. Next set of questions, common preamble. Common preamble, please take note. We are still beginning with KNUST. In an article titled The Nexus Between Customer Service and Brand Building in Ghana, the head of marketing at UPSA explores the interplay between customer service and brand building in Ghana. He states that frontline employees are brand ambassadors in practice. Their behavior, tone, and competence shape the customer's perception more than corporate advertisements do. KNUST, identify and explain briefly three importance of strategic customer service for employees. Identify and explain briefly three importance of strategic customer service for employees.
So the first one, we have support differentiation. We have it builds a long-term.
Adeleke, start again. You said support what?
Differentiation.
Okay.
We have it builds the long-term equity of the company, and it builds loyalty.
I'm not getting the point well.
So
Please start again.
Okay. So the strategic importance of customer services. The first one is it helps to build loyalty, customer loyalty, and the second one is it supports differentiation between products, and the third one is it builds long-term value equity for the company. Long-term equity for the company.
I'm not able to accept that. Bonus for University of Cape Coast.
Okay, so the first one, we have brand distinction. And the second one, we have customer equity, and we have long-term business resilience.
For a bonus, I won't accept that. Now your major question, University of Cape Coast. Customer service serves as a real-time sensor of market expectations and product performance. Strategic brands treat customer service data, complaints, suggestions, and inquiries, not as burdens, but as valuable business intelligence. Mention any three usefulness of such data in business decisions. Customer service serves as a real-time sensor of market expectations and product performance. Strategic brands treat customer service data, including complaints, suggestions, and inquiries, not as burdens, but as valuable business intelligence. Mention any three usefulness of such data in business decisions.
Okay, so the first one has to do with, we have content. So this data, or this data is used for content analysis. The second one has to do with, we have competitive benchmark. And the last one basically has to do with providing proactive and customer chain value to the to the business, or also the customers as well.
Please come again with your points. You are talking too fast.
Okay, so the first one, we have creating content. And the second one, we have customer benchmark. And the last one, we have marketing messages.
I'll accept that. For the next set of questions, I'm beginning from the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast, you are commencing this round for me. Common preamble to the two schools. Common preamble. Now, Ghana is standing at the edge of a seismic digital revolution. Beneath our everyday mobile money transactions and cedi fluctuations, a powerful force is gathering momentum: cryptocurrency adoption. This is according to Senior Vice President and Head, Finance, Advisory and Equity Capital Markets at Stanbic Bank Ghana. Regulating cryptocurrencies is not the responsibility of only the BOG, but is supposed to be regulated by a host of state regulatory actors. Now, the question is for you to mention and explain 3 roles of the state agency that I'm going to mention to you, state regulatory agency that I'll mention to you, in regulating cryptocurrencies. Mention and explain 3 rules of the following state regulatory actors in regulating cryptocurrencies. Beginning with the University of Cape Coast, Central Bank. Central Bank.
So, one, the central bank provides some policies that has to do with the classification and the use of the cryptocurrency and apply some tax policies. 2. So 2, they'll try to. They'll try to implement sound policy associated with the use of cryptocurrency.
That was the point you mentioned first.
Okay. So point two has to do with.
Because of time, I'm not able to wait for you forever. 1 out of 3. KNUST. Yours is Ghana Stock Exchange. Ghana Stock Exchange.
Okay, so the Ghana Stock Exchange is supposed to issue listing frameworks for regularized digital assets, including token commodities and stable coins. And they're also supposed to build infrastructure for blockchain-based clearance and settlements to future-proof assets. They are also supposed to collaborate with fintech and to provide safe and compliant access to digital asset exposure.
It is correct. It is correct. Next set of questions, common preamble. Standard Bank, the parent company of Stanbic Bank Ghana Limited, has demonstrated its leadership as the best bank in Africa and South Africa after receiving 26 accolades across the continental footprint at the Euro Money Awards for Excellence 2025. Now, my question to you, beginning with the University of Cape Coast, mention any 3 countries in which it won Best Investment Bank each. Mention any 3 countries in which Stanbic Bank Ghana won Best Investment Bank, beginning with UCC.
We have Ghana, Malawi, and Gambia.
Yes. KNUST.
You have Kenya, Mauritius, and South Africa.
Yes. And now the last set of questions for this round. Last set of questions. Ghana's poultry industry stands at a perilous crossroads. Once a cornerstone of national productivity and food security, the sector has been battered by decades of poor policy implementation, institutional neglect, and underinvestment. This, according to Raymond, in his article on reviving Ghana's poultry sector, fixing the system, not just the symptoms. Now, University of Cape Coast. Policy influencing is no longer optional. Advocacy must be deliberate, informed, and collective. It must be anchored on 3 pillars. What are these 3 pillars of advocacy? Policy influencing is no longer optional. Advocacy must be deliberate, informed, and collective. It must be anchored on 3 pillars. What are these pillars of advocacy? University of Cape Coast, this is your question.
So So one has to do with the parliamentary. The other one has to do with the farm. Farm. The one has to do with farm. The one has to do with parliamentary. The second one has to do with farmers association and also donors partners.
I'm not taking that. Bonus for KNUST.
Okay. So we have production and inputs, veterinary and biosecurity, and trade and procurement.
That is not correct as well. And now the last question to KNUST in this round. It is critical that the livestock and poultry sectors push for the passage of the Animal Health Bill and other legislations. Beyond legislation, advocacy must also focus on some 3 areas. Mention these 3 areas as indicated in the article. It is critical that livestock and poultry sectors push for the passage of the Animal Health Bill 2020 and other legislations. Beyond legislation, advocacy must also focus on some 3 areas. Mention these 3 areas as indicated in the article.
Okay. So focus on the development of piloting a poultry farm rating system, then strong communication and lobbying for the biosecurity classification scheme, and orientation and sensitization of key.
I'm not taking that. Bonus for the University of Cape Coast.
So one has to do with the one has to do with the national. So one has to do with. Oh, come on. One has to do with the enforcement of hatchery programs or codes, and the second one has to do with the second one has to do with the passing.
It's a bonus. I cannot wait for you. On that note, it is not correct. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of round 4. That is the end of round 4. So we have 2 final rounds to go. We'll take the scores for round 4, and then we can move on to the 5th round. At the end of round 4, the scores are as follows. Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology had 9 points. University of Cape Coast had 14 points. All right. So we are going into round 5, true or false segment. The tension can be cut into pieces. It is very obvious. Round 5, true or false. In this round, I'm going to read out some statements to you. Your duty is to tell me if the statement is true or false. If you get it correct, I'll give you 2 points. If you get it wrong, I'll take 1 point from you. You may decide not to answer, in which case the other school may take it up under the same conditions. Each of you will attempt 7 major questions. Please, are you okay? We are beginning this round from the University of Cape Coast. University of Cape Coast, but common preamble. All right, common preamble. During a psychotic episode, Ernest agrees to sell his classic car to Stephen for 5,000 cedis. The next day after recovering, Ernest claims he was mentally incapable of understanding the contract when he signed it. Ernest has no court ruling declaring him legally incompetent. That is the preamble. Did you get it? KNUST, did you get the preamble? UCC, let me take it again. During a psychotic episode, psychotic simply means mental instability. So during a psychotic episode, Ernest agrees to sell his classic car to Stephen for 5,000 cedis. The next day, after recovering, Ernest claims he was mentally incapable of understanding the contract when he signed it. Ernest has no court ruling declaring him legally incompetent. Now, University of Cape Coast. Ernest can void the contract simply by claiming mental illness. Ernest can void the contract simply by claiming mental illness.
False.
Yes. KNUST. If Stephen was unaware of Annette's mental condition, the contract may still be voidable. If Stephen was unaware of Annette's mental condition, the contract may still be voidable.
True.
Yes. Next set of questions will focus on negotiated transfer pricing within decentralized organizations. University of Cape Coast, your question. Negotiated transfer pricing is ideal in organizations with centralized decision-making. Negotiated transfer pricing is ideal in organizations with centralized decision-making.
False.
Yes. KNUST, negotiated transfer pricing works best when divisions are evaluated as cost centers. Negotiated transfer pricing works best when divisions are evaluated as cost centers.
False.
Yes. For the next set, we are going to explore the behavioral dynamics, market implications, and theoretical inconsistencies that are associated with herd behavior in financial markets. Now, University of Cape Coast, herding, that's herd behavior. Herding can occur even when investors have access to the same public information. Herding can occur even when investors have access to the same public information.
True.
Yes. KNUST, herd behavior is inconsistent with the assumptions of the efficient market hypothesis. Herd behavior is inconsistent with the assumptions of the efficient market hypothesis.
True.
Yes. Next set of questions will assess your knowledge of put options, their valuation dynamics, and related trading strategies. University of Cape Coast. The time value of a put option always increases as expiration approaches. The time value of a put option always increases as expiration approaches.
True.
It is not true. KNUST, a put options delta is always positive. A put options delta is always positive.
False.
It is false. For my next set of questions, I'm beginning with KNUST. KNUST, are beginning the next set for me. This time we are focusing on customer lifetime value. KNUST. Customer lifetime value is always higher for customers acquired through referral marketing. Customer lifetime value is always higher for customers acquired through referral marketing.
False.
It is correct. University of Cape Coast, higher retention rates directly increase customer lifetime value. Higher retention rates directly increase customer lifetime value.
True.
Yes. KNUST. PEFA indicators, that is a public expenditure and financial accountability framework. PEFA indicators are evaluated using numerical 1 to 4 scale, where 1 equals D and 4 equals A. PEFA indicators are evaluated using numerical 1 to 4 scale, where 1 equals D and 4 equals A.
True.
No. University of Cape Coast. A score of A on the PEFA index means that all dimensions under the indicator must individually score A. A score of A means that all dimensions under the indicator must individually score A.
False.
No. You can only get an A if all the others are A. And now the last set of questions for this round. Last set of questions for the round. KNUST. If an infinite geometric series has a sum of 12 and a common ratio of 0.75, the first term must be 3. If an infinite geometric series has a sum of 12 and a common ratio of 0.75, the first term must be 3.
True.
Yes. And now, University of Cape Coast. If the sum of an infinite geometric series is 10 and the common ratio is 0.2, then the first term must be 2. If the sum of an infinite geometric series is 10 and the common ratio is 0.2, then the first term must be 2.
False.
Yes. On that note, we come to the end of round 5. We have one final round to go, ladies and gentlemen. It is still hanging in the balance, equally poised. It is a Tertiary Business Sense challenge. It is brought to us by Graphic Business and ICAG. Our sponsors include Glyco Life, PwC, Gold Ghana, Papaya Fast Food, Zenith University College, EPP Book Services, Ghana National Association of Teachers, Compu Ghana, MTN Ghana, GCB Bank. We have one final round to go. The scores for round 4 or round 5, if they are ready. At the end of round 5, University of Cape Coast had 8 points, KNUST had 11 points. Ladies and gentlemen, the deciding round. Riddles. Riddles. 6 riddles in all. The 2 riddles are open to both of you. The first school to ring their bell will be required to give an answer in 10 seconds. If you get it correct, you may get 5 points. That is if you answered on the first clue. 4 points if you answered on the second clue. 3 points on any other clue thereafter. If you get it wrong, you can no longer partake in that riddle. If there are further clues, I'll read them to the hearing of the remaining school. Are you set with the directives? Let me hear your bell, KNUST. And now your bell, University of Cape Coast. Ladies and gentlemen, riddle number 1. Please, silence. I am a nickname of a group of developed countries in Asia. University of Cape Coast.
The 5 Asian tigers.
Okay, I'll say it. Okay, I'll say it. It's a yes. They answered on the first clue, 5 points. 5 points. Riddle number 2. Riddle number 2. I am a state entity established by an Act of Parliament, Act 990. I am governed by a board of 9 members appointed by the President. I operate under the oversight of the Ministry of Finance and the Office of the President. My creation was part of efforts to streamline the management and governance of state-owned enterprises. KNUST.
State Interest and Governance Authority.
Yes. Yes. They answered on the third clue 3 points. 3 points. Next riddle. Riddle number 3. I am a measure of statistical dispersion of the values in a data set. I am similar to the range and the interquartile range. And I KNUST.
Semi-interquartile range.
I'll not take that. I am similar to the range and the interquartile range, and I can be computed from the 7-number summary. I provide a more robust measure of spread compared to the range, as I exclude the most extreme values, offering a clearer picture of the typical variability within the data. I essentially quantify the spread of the middle 80% of the data, excluding the lowest 10% and the highest 10%. I am a statistical measure that represents the difference between the 9th decile and the 1st decile of a data set. University of Cape Coast.
The trimmed me.
No. No. It is known as the interdecile range. If we can have interquartile, we can have interdecile. Next riddle. Riddle number 4. I am a statistical tool used in project management. I was originally developed by Charles E. Clark for the United States Navy in 1958. I'm commonly used in conjunction with the critical path method, which was introduced KNUST.
The Performance and Evaluation and Review tool. Technique.
What?
PET.
PET is correct. They answered on the second clue, and that is 4 points. Oh, we are going to the 5th riddle, right? No, 5th. 5th. I asked the first one on the Asian tigers. The second one was on Siga. The third one was on the interdecile range. And then the 4th one is what has been answered, PET. So we are going to the 5th one, which is the last but one riddle. I am a business model introduced by Irish academic and management author or philosopher, Charles Handy. University of Cape Coast.
Shamrock Organization.
On the first clue, that is correct.
Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Go.
They answered on the first clue 5 points. Ladies and gentlemen, the last question, which happens to be the last riddle of this contest. All right, let's do some economics. I'm a concept in money, or I'm a concept associated with money and macroeconomics. I come from an old French word translated to mean right of the Lord, to mint money. I represent an implicit source of revenue for central banks when issuing fiat currency. The risks of overusing me include inflation or hyperinflation, which lead to loss of confidence in the currency. I am the difference between the face value of money and the cost to produce it. KNUST.
The intrinsic value.
No. So I continue for UCC. I am the difference between the face value of money and the cost to produce it. If the difference is positive, the government will make a profit. A negative difference will result in a loss. Who am I?
So we have the spread.
It is not correct. It is not the spread. It is not the spread. I mentioned that it comes from an old French word, and the word I'm looking for is seigneurage. We come to the end of the contest, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the contest. A fierce one at that. We will take the scores for round 6, and then we'll come back with the final results. Please give me the scores for round 6. At the end of round 6, University of Cape Coast had 10 points, KNUST had 7 points. So we will take the final results and then we will come back shortly. So what is the final results at the end of the contest? All right, so whilst we wait for the results, KNUST, that was intense. That was intense. Kojo, how did it go for you?
Okay, so it was really intense, especially in the last round. Yeah, they really gave us a run for our money.
University of Cape Coast, how was this for you?
Quizmaster, thank you. This was challenging, and we are actually glad to partake in this. It's a very great opportunity. Thank you.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's been back to back. It's been fierce. And like I said at the beginning, from 2019, these two schools have been the most consistent, and in terms of performance, they have been the best. So this contest attests to that fact. We will take our final results, and then we'll go on to the next contest. Remember that the next contest will be in between the University of Education Winneba and the Valley View University. What are the scores? Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the contest, University of Cape Coast had 64.83, KNUST had 64.83. There has to be a tiebreaker. We'll go for a very quick commercial break. When we come back, we give you the tiebreaker.
Information is a great source of power, adding to your options, knowing that quality and standard remains intact, and our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your favorite daily graphic and our weeklies, The Mirror, Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as 10 Ghana cedis weekly for unlimited access to all publications. Graphic, truth and accuracy every day.
On that note, we come to the
information
end of
is a great source of power, adding to your
next set of questions. University of Education Winneba 24 edition
which is accepted as
of the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge has finally come to an end. How do you assess your own performance?
Graphic Business, Graphic Showbiz, Junior Graphic, and Graphic Sports on Graphic News Plus app. It's the digital replicas of our work. Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home. Welcome family and friends. Choose the bundle that best works for you from as low as $10 weekly for unlimited access to publications.
This means a lot. We are super excited. They've really shown professionalism.
Information is a great source of power. Adding to your options,
the experience and compliance.
Yes, that is correct.
And our content, which is accepted as truth and accuracy every day, is accessible on the go. Access your
Champions who have held the trophy for more than 365 days.
Graphic showbiz. Junior.
You said you use to test hypothesis.
T-test.
No, please.
Download Graphic News Plus app on the Google Play Store, Apple App Store, and available on www.graphicnewsplus.com as you remain abreast of and keep pace with on-the-minute news updates on the go. Home sweet home.
Of the giant trophy, which signifies that UGBS are our 2024 champions. So let's welcome them with a hearty round of applause as they receive the trophy.
This means a lot. We are super excited. They've really shown professionalism.
Prove the experience and compliance.
Yes, that is correct.
Champions who have held the trophy for more than 365 days.
You said you use to test hypothesis.
T-test.
No, please.
Radio frequency identification.
Yes.
Congratulations, guys. It's not easy. Let a round of applause flow for our 2024 Tertiary Business Sense Challenge champions, the university.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a situation on our hands. At the end of the contest, the two schools have tied on 64.83. Per the rules of the competition, when there's a tie like this, it has to be broken. And there's an order for separating the two schools. In the first instance, we ask a riddle question. The first school to get it correct automatically wins the contest. If there is no winner at the end of that first set, another riddle question is asked. If there's still no winner at the end of the two riddles, we move on to the true or false round or section. In the true or false session, both schools will be asked questions. If one gets it correct and the other gets it wrong, then there is a winner. If both schools get it wrong, we progress. If the two schools get it correct, we progress to another true or false question. When we are done with the true or false and there's still no winner, we move on to calculations. After calculations, two sets of questions. If there's still no winner, we move on to theory questions, and then we repeat the order until there is a clear winner. Is that okay? So at this stage, I'm going to ask you a riddle question. Riddle. Please, silence. I am a theoretical device used in communication. I'm often taught as a tool in public speaking, debate, and media interviews to add emphasis and impact. I'm a technique of comic timing used to accentuate a comedy element, which uses comic pauses at the end of a phrase to build up suspense. I'm not just a brief pause, but a noticeable silence that invites the listener or audience to think, reflect, or anticipate what's coming next. I am the significant and intentional silence that is filled with meaning, suspense, or emotional weight, often used to highlight what comes next or to let something said sink in. KNUST.
Momentary pause.
It is not momentary. UCC.
Pacing.
It is not pacing. It is called pregnant pause. Now the last or the next riddle. The next riddle. Please, silence. I am a term that is associated with data storage in computer. KNUST.
Cloud computing.
No. I am a hardware or software component that stores data so that future requests for that data can be served faster. The data I store might be the result of an earlier computation or a copy of data stored elsewhere. University of Cape Coast.
Random access memory.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on. The riddles could not separate them, so we go on to true or false. Oh, you want to know the answer? It's cash. C-A-C-H-E. Riddle number, okay, so we go to true or false. So each of you will attempt a true or false question. If both of you get it correct, we go to another true or false. If both of you get it wrong, we go to another true or false. But if one gets it correct and the other gets it wrong, then the one who got it correct is declared winner. KNUST. Unlike adhocracy culture, market culture resists change and discourages innovation. Unlike adhocracy culture, market culture resists change and discourages innovation.
False.
Yes. University of Cape Coast. Success in a hierarchy culture is... there's a problem with this question. Adhocracy culture thrives on structure, predictability, and established rules. Adhocracy culture thrives on structure, predictability, and established rules.
False.
Yes. Next set of true or false questions. KNUST. In replacement analysis, tax implications from the sale of the old asset should be considered in NPV calculations. In replacement analysis, tax implications from the sale of the old asset should be considered in NPV calculations.
True.
It is true. University of Cape Coast. Depreciation has no impact on replacement analysis since it is a non-cash expense. Depreciation has no impact on replacement analysis since it is a non-cash expense.
True.
It is not true. Ladies and gentlemen, the tie has been broken. The contest has been won by the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Congratulations to you, KNUST. You've qualified to the national final. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, heartbreak for University of Cape Coast and their supporters. The contest was settled on a tiebreaker. Hard luck to you, University of Cape Coast. But it was a good fight. Ladies and gentlemen, the first semi-final contest has come to an end. It was a very cagey one as expected. Two distinguished universities in Ghana and in the history of the Tertiary Business Sense Challenge. At the end of it all, there has been a winner. It was won on tiebreaker, and the winner for the contest is a school from the Middle Zone, the 3-time Northern Zone champion, the 1-time national champion, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Congratulations to you, KNUST. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my studio audience, on behalf of all who joined online to watch this interesting contest, on behalf of my production team, Franklin Sowa, Yvonne Ayi, Stella Logosu, George Dansu, David Ebo, Ernest Jesse Malik, Haruna Emmanuel Amamu, Agnes Adu, Evans Minta, Alfred Akweje, Felix Tay, David Niama, Abubakar Evans, Tayuba Samolansa, Emmanuel Adi, Esther J, Kwame Lawe, Benis Caleb, Jesse and Walali. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next semi-final contest, which will be between the University of Education Winneba and the Valley View University. My name is Al Hassan Yusuf Traore, and of course, I love academic balance. I'll see you later. Bye-bye for now.